Have you ever heard of a place where husbands casually lend their wives to neighbors and everyone smiles about it? Or a place where, the moment they wake up, men have an instant urge to be intimate with women? And what if I told you there's a town where girls grow up as girls, only to become boys when they hit 12? These are real places. We'll uncover 11 of the strangest villages on Earth. In a village in Tanzania, hospitality is shown by husbands sometimes lending their wives to neighbors, openly and without scandal. The practice, though rare today, is still known in the region, and it operates under specific conditions. For example, the borrower must be close in age to the husband, and the wife can't be taken back to the borrower's house. Encounters happen discreetly on the husband's property, and if the husband walks in, he's not allowed to get angry. Life here is tough. Homes are made from sun-dried mud bricks, decorated with mirrors for both beauty and grooming. Inside, you'll find only the basics: a bed, some clothes hung on string lines, and a cooking pot. There's no electricity, only small solar panels, and water comes from rain collection. Meals are often just cassava paste dipped into simple sauces. The origins of wife lending are debated, with some suggesting it began as a way to build alliances between men. Today it's less common, but the reputation has stuck, and it certainly draws curious visitors. Comment number 1 if you're excited to visit this place. In the remote Kazakh village of Kalachi, a bizarre illness affects nearly a quarter of residents. Without warning, people collapse into a deep sleep, sometimes for 6 days. When they wake, they're often disoriented, sometimes even behaving oddly. One man in his 60s woke up believing he was a rooster, flapping his arms and crowing at sunrise. Others wake with sudden, intense urges, especially to seek female company. The condition leaves residents fearful, and many have moved away. Scientists suspect radon gas from abandoned Soviet uranium mines nearby may be to blame, but no definitive cause has been found. Stranger still, residents in the adjacent ghost town, built over the same mines, don't seem to suffer from it. Some villagers even whisper about deliberate attempts to drive them away, though there's no proof. Fewer than 300 people still live here, each one aware they could collapse into dreamless slumber at any moment. In the arid north of Namibia, the Hima tribe has developed a unique way of life shaped by scarcity. There are no rivers here, and rainfall is rare. Bathing in water isn't an option, so the Himba have perfected an alternative. Women apply a paste made from butterfat and ochre, giving their skin and hair a deep red color. This not only protects from the sun, but also deters insects and prevents body odor. For a cleansing bath, they burn aromatic herbs, covering themselves with blankets to trap the smoke and purify their bodies. The result is a distinctive earthy scent. Hair is braided and coated with the same clay mixture, each style carrying meaning about age, marital status, and family role. Men and women alike use braids to mark life stages: marriage, adulthood, and sometimes even widowhood. Cattle are the foundation of wealth here, and polygamy is common. The more cattle a man owns, the wealthier he is, and cattle also serve as the price for taking multiple wives. Marriage ceremonies can involve symbolic kidnappings, and the bride's arrival is celebrated with a ritual cleansing in cow's milk. And talking about hospitality, in a tradition that is now largely obsolete, a husband might demonstrate ultimate trust and generosity by allowing his wife to sleep with an overnight male guest. To outsiders, these customs seem unusual, but they've sustained the Himba for generations in one of Earth's harshest climates. Before we leave the red sands of Namibia behind, don't forget to support us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and turning on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Thank you, best of followers. Another remarkable location is a village where roughly 90% are women, many of whom are said to have never had their first kiss. Noiva do Cordeiro is a small farming community of about 600 people. Many of these women are young, single, and by all accounts, strikingly beautiful. But that's only part of the story. The women here run everything. They plant and harvest crops, care for cattle and poultry, build homes, and decide how the community's shared resources are used. It's an entirely self-sufficient village, managed with an efficiency and cooperation that would put some city councils to shame. The origin of this unusual demographic goes back to the late 19th century. According to local law, the village was founded by a woman named Maria Senhorina, who was shunned by her church for alleged infidelity. She started her own settlement, and for generations afterward, the community maintained a degree of isolation from outside men, often marrying only outsiders who agreed to their way of life. Today, this separation still shapes daily life. Most of the few men in the village work far away and only visit on weekends. This leaves the women not just running the household, but running the entire community. When news of the Village of Women broke internationally, thousands of men sent letters or even showed up at the gates, hoping to find a romantic partner. The women weren't looking for men who wanted to rescue them or turn the village into something else. What they wanted was equality, partners willing to share in both love and labor. As one visitor put it, I thought I was here to impress them, but they were more interested in whether I could clean a chicken coop. Daily life here is quiet but demanding. At sunrise, women head to the fields to weed vegetable gardens or milk cows. By mid-morning, some are repairing fences while others prepare meals from fresh produce and homemade cheese. In the evenings, the village often gathers for music and dancing, joyful celebrations that keep their social bonds strong. Could you live in a place where women make all the decisions and men must adapt to their world? Let us know in the comments. In the quiet village of Salinas, there's a rare genetic condition that locals call a curse. A small but significant number of children born as girls undergo a dramatic transformation at puberty. Around the age of 12, these children, known locally as guevedoses, meaning develop male genitalia and begin to take on male characteristics like deeper voices and facial hair. The change is the result of a rare genetic condition called 5-alpha reductase deficiency. Babies with the condition lack an enzyme needed to process male hormones before birth. As a result, they're born with female-appearing genitalia, even though they have XY chromosomes. At puberty, a surge in testosterone triggers male development almost overnight. For families in Salinas, this is simply part of life. Parents often give their children gender-neutral names until puberty, waiting to see if a change will occur. Some guevedoses embrace their new male identity fully, while others choose surgery to remain female. Johnny, once called Felicita, remembers the confusion of his early teen years. One day I was playing with dolls with my sisters. The next I felt stronger. My voice was different, and I was expected to join the boys. Scientists first studied the phenomenon in the 1970s, after hearing local rumors. Today, Salinas is cited in medical textbooks, but for residents it's not an anomaly, it's simply part of the community's rhythm of life. Outsiders may find it shocking, but here, the curse is just another stage of growing up. Perched high on a steep mountain slope in Sichuan province, Achulia seems almost glued to the cliff face. For generations, this tiny Yi minority village was so remote that the only way in or out was via handmade bamboo ladders. These ladders clung to the rock wall like giant spiderwebs. Climbing them meant gripping worn bamboo poles, your feet finding uncertain purchase on narrow rungs, while the ground dropped away into nothingness. For school children, the journey to class wasn't a short walk, it was a 2-hour vertical ascent, often with parents carrying younger siblings on their backs. Everything from groceries to livestock had to be transported this way. Imagine hauling a sack of rice, a sleeping baby, or a sick goat up a ladder 2,600 feet high. It's no wonder villagers called it the Sky Ladder. The village gained global attention when journalists photographed children making the climb. The images sparked a wave of concern, and in 2016, the government built a safer steel staircase with over 2,500 steps. It's still grueling, especially in the summer heat or winter snow, but far less deadly. Even with these improvements, many families have chosen to move to resettlement areas in the valley below. But some remain, saying that the cliff is part of who they are. Standing in Achulia, looking down over miles of terraced fields and river valleys, you can see why. It's a view and a way of life you can't find anywhere else. If you were walking across the fields outside Sanmenxia in Henan province, you might never guess that hundreds of people were living directly under your feet. Here lies one of China's most unusual communities, an underground village of Yayaodong cave dwellings. From above, you see only rectangular depressions in the earth, each about 10 to 12 meters wide. Step closer, and you'll find stairways leading down to courtyards surrounded by arched rooms dug into the walls. These homes, some over 200 years old, stay cool in the scorching summers and warm in the freezing winters, a natural form of insulation perfected long before air conditioning existed. Building a Yayaodong is no small task. Families spend years digging out the earth, shaping the walls, and adding features like brick facades, carved lintels, and even small gardens in the courtyard. Modern additions, electric lighting, televisions, Wi-Fi, blend seamlessly with the old earthen architecture. Daily life unfolds underground. Families cook meals in open-air courtyards, children play in shaded alcoves, and elders sit on low stools shelling peanuts or mending clothes. When it rains, water drains through cleverly designed channels, leaving the living spaces dry. In recent years, tourism has begun to arrive. Some families rent rooms to visitors eager for the experience of sleeping in an earth home, while others sell local snacks or handicrafts. Yet for many residents, these homes are more than curiosities. They are symbols of heritage, stability, and deep connection to the land. Deep in Zhejiang province lies a village that feels like it was designed not just for living, but for puzzling the mind. Huaxi Village, named after the brilliant Three Kingdoms strategist Zhu Liang, is known across China as the Maze Village. And for good reason. Once you enter, you can lose your sense of direction within minutes. At the heart of the maze is a small pond, Zhongqi, said to be the starting point of the village's 14th century design. From it, 8 narrow lanes radiate outward like the arms of a star, branching into countless side paths and blind alleys. The pattern mirrors the ancient Bagua, the 8 trigrams of Taoist philosophy symbolizing balance and protection. But in practical terms, it's a masterwork of defense. Invading forces could be trapped, delayed, or misled, buying precious time for villagers to escape or regroup. Even today, the effect is mesmerizing. You might turn a corner expecting to see open sky, only to find another stone wall. The walls are high enough to block your view, so you navigate by sound and scent, the crow of a rooster, the smell of frying scallion pancakes, the distant laughter of children. Zhuge Village is still home to descendants of Zhu Liang, and nearly everyone shares the surname Zhuge. Marriages often take place within the extended family to preserve this lineage. Residents take great pride in their heritage, and the village's layout is more than just a curiosity. It's a link to the mind of their ancestor, a man whose strategies shape battles and kingdoms. Walking through the alleys, you sense that each twist and turn hides a story. You pass ancient archways carved with auspicious symbols, old wooden doors polished by generations of hands, and small courtyards where women dry chili peppers in the sun. And then, just when you think you've found your way, you're back where you started. On the windswept coast of central Vietnam lies An Bang, a fishing village with a skyline unlike any other. Instead of high-rises or church spires, you see ornate towers, gleaming gates, and colorful pavilions, but these aren't for the living. An Bang is known as the City of Ghosts, a vast necropolis where the dead rest in splendor. Here, tombs are built like palaces with sweeping tiled roofs, dragon carvings, and elaborate mosaics made from broken porcelain. Families can spend the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of US dollars on a single mausoleum, sometimes more than they spend on their own homes. The tradition began when locals, many of whom had relatives working overseas, sent money back to honor their ancestors. Over time, the tombs became larger, brighter, and more elaborate, as families sought to display not just devotion but social standing. It's a form of ancestral respect deeply rooted in Vietnamese culture, but here it has reached a level of grandeur that stuns visitors. Walking through the cemetery is like wandering through a silent city. Some tombs have rooms for caretakers, complete with furniture and electric lighting. At night, the tombs glow softly, lit by electric bulbs, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. Locals say the tombs are not just memorials, they're homes for the spirits, who watch over the living. And in An Bang, it's clear the residents believe in making their ancestors very comfortable indeed. In a corner of Shenzhen, where the skyscrapers give way to quieter streets, lies Dafan Oil Painting Village, a place where art is industry. Here, nearly every resident is an artist, but their job isn't to create originals. Instead, they produce astonishingly accurate replicas of the world's most famous paintings. Step into one of Dafan's hundreds of workshops, and you might see Van Gogh's Starry Night being recreated in one corner, Monet's Water Lilies in another, and a row of Mona Lisa smiling from drying racks. The painters work with speed and precision, Some can finish a detailed reproduction in just a few hours. The village's story began in the late 1980s when a businessman saw the potential for exporting affordable oil paintings to the West. He brought a group of artists here, and word spread quickly. Today, defies produces millions of paintings a year, shipped to hotels, offices, and homes around the globe. While some critics dismiss the work as fakes, the skill involved is undeniable. Artists here study brushstrokes, color palettes, and techniques of the masters, often developing an intimate understanding of the originals. Many eventually create their own works on the side, blending personal creativity with the discipline learned from copying the greats. Walking through defies feels like strolling through the world's largest open-air museum, except here, you can buy a Van Gogh for a fraction of the price and watch it being made before your eyes. In Jiangsu province, surrounded by farmland, lies a village that defies the typical image of rural China. Huaxi, once a humble farming community, is now called the richest village in China, a place where wealth is shared collectively, at least among its official residents. Founded in 1961 by Wu Renbao, Huaxi transformed through a unique model of collective ownership. The village invested in steel, textiles, and other industries, and the profits were shared. Residents were given villas, cars, and bank accounts rumored to contain hundreds of thousands of dollars. Helicopters and yachts are available for leisure trips. Healthcare, education, and even cooking oil are provided free of charge. But there's a catch. Every able-bodied resident is expected to work, often 7 days a week, in the village's enterprises. Migrant workers can earn high salaries here, but they don't receive the same benefits as official members. Perhaps the most striking symbol of Huaxi's wealth is the Longteng Hotel, a 74-story skyscraper built to celebrate the village's 50th anniversary. Visitors can take in panoramic views, dine in luxury restaurants, and even see replicas of world landmarks. For residents, Huaxi is both a source of pride and a tightly run system. Those born here rarely leave, after all. Where else could you live in a place where taking a helicopter to lunch is just another Tuesday? Cliff ladders to underground homes. From mysterious illnesses to villages run entirely by women, these 11 communities remind us that human life is endlessly adaptable, and sometimes downright bizarre. Each place reflects the challenges and creativity of the people who live there. Some of these villages thrive because of their quirks, others in spite of them. But all of them prove that normal is a matter of perspective. So if you could live in one of these villages for a year, which would you choose and why? Share your answer in the comments below. I personally read as many as I can, and your thoughts often inspire future videos. Don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on notifications bell so we can see you again in our next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Your support truly means the world. Wishing you the best of luck. Thanks for being with us on this great journey. Leave your thoughts in the comments and like to help us. Remember to subscribe for more. See you soon.